so today I'm talking about the Pontiac G8. Haven't talked about this car in a while, so sorry, not sorry. I've been busy doing other stuff. But today, why I haven't talked about this car is because it's been perfect. There's nothing wrong with it. My wife's been driving this car on the regular. It's got a Rick Crawford pretty much built top end on this car, bottom end stock. It has a stock intake that's been ported, stock throttle body's been ported, the heads have been ported, different valves, different springs, different camshaft, set of long tube headers, 3-inch exhaust, 345 gear, a tune, a flex fuel conversion, decapped stock injectors, let's see here, different pulley, a different crank pulley on it, and different converter. And other than that, it runs 11 O's at like 122 miles an hour. It has a Veram intake, cold air intake, which is this. Basically force feeds the air through this LS7 mass air meter, and the car is phenomenal. It runs great for a naturally aspirated LS engine. It runs great. So just to give you a recap, I have a 4.6 mod motor, built engine, supercharged 800 horsepower, a Gen 3 5.7 Hemi, and this car, naturally aspirated. This car, the LS engine, my twin turbo 5.4 mod motor, and the TTSaleen, which makes probably 1,400 horsepower now at the rear tires. All different combinations here that I've got. And but for naturally aspirated, the Gen 3 Hemi and the LS engine. And this is what they call the L76. So it was rated, I think like 360 horsepower. With the mods and all I did to it before I did any work, it was making about 380 horsepower when I first did the little Lanati camshaft and all in it. And then I did a Dominator camshaft, which is what's in it now, the ported heads, the converter and all that. It went from running 1160s with the little Lanati cam and stock converter to run 11 O's. This combination has been like 1070s, 1090s, and Rick Crawford's other setups. But in mine, it's only been 11 O's. It's been consistent mid-high 140, 60 foots on drag radials. So it launches awesome. For some reason, it just will not run a 1090 on the other end. I don't know if it's just track conditions or temperature, humidity, whatever it was, but that was still through the full exhaust and full weight of the car. I do have a drag pack for it, skinny wheels and all that in the front. But no matter what, I couldn't get it to run any better than 11 O's. So I say 11 O's, it was like 1101, 1102, 1100. Could not get the car to run a 1090. So it's there, has a lot of potential. But today, what we're doing is I've already pulled it off. So unfortunately, I'll have to step you through what you do here. You pull the cold air intake off. You unhook the radiator hose, upper radiator hose here. There's a little bypass hose here. There's an overflow hose that goes here. And you do all that so you can take the electric fans off. And the reason for that is my electric fans are starting to make a little bit of noise. I didn't do it when it was cold, but after the car had gotten hot, you've been running it for a little while, they had like a chirping noise to them. So maybe I'll put a sound clip or something in here. But it was like a little chirping noise, and I couldn't really diagnose what it was. I thought it was something rubbing, something squeaking. Ended up being, it's the motors in this thing. So I've already disassembled one to show you what they look like, but the motors for this is the same. You'll notice the fan blades look a little different. This is what they look like. These are what they call left-hand threads. So when you turn them to the left, it tightens it up. So to remove the nut, you turn it to the right. Take the nut off, take the fan blade off, and then you have just screws. There's 3 screws here to hold the motor down. You remove the 3 screws and you pull the motor out. So this is how they sit down in here, and then you put the fan blade over top. Again, there's a left and a right. This, if you're looking at the front of the car, this is on the passenger side or your left side. You're looking at the front of the car, and that's on the driver's side or the right side. So just for looking at like that, that's how they would look. I've already removed both of the old motors. I'll put them down here like that. And I just got in my shipment of the new motors. I'll go ahead and pop them out and put those in, and we'll stick it all back in the car. Hopefully we'll fix this problem where it's got the squeak. The fans were both working perfectly fine. It was just the little chirping noise that was happening. And what it is, it's just an electrical motor. So over time, let me see if I can grab one. Over time, I mean, basically the way this thing just turns, they just get worn out. Now they both sound fine right now. Again, it's just when they get hot. So unfortunately, the price on these motors isn't cheap. You might as well figure you're gonna spend somewhere between $125 and $160 a piece. You're gonna need 2 of them. So go ahead and break out your wallet. And I actually got these for $125 a piece. So it cost me with tax and all about $275 for both of these motors. But it is necessary. Keep your car cool. One runs all the time. One's gonna run when you turn on your air conditioner, or it's the high-speed fan when it gets really hot in traffic. But just gives you a quick glimpse of what it looks like. There's 2 tabs. You push in the tabs right here off of the radiator, and then you basically wiggle it and pull it straight out. So it's pretty simple to get out. Again, you've got to remove the hoses here to get them out of the way. You will lose a little bit of coolant. I stuck a rag in here. I've got a catch pan under the bottom. Okay, these are my 2 new motors here. This is the part number 921-91945. See, same on both. These are genuine GM parts. Again, if my original ones from 2008 lasted this long, why wouldn't I buy the same ones again? So that's what we're going for. And now we'll drop these into place. Now you'll notice when you go drop your motor in, you'll see there's a cutout right here, which matches the plug. That's how you'll know your orientation. And if we want to compare the motors here, just flip them upside down like that, and look, they're the same. All right, same thing here. Match up our orientation there. So now I'll go ahead and put the mounting screws back in it, which are these. And to show you this, there's little pieces that stick out here, and they've got to stick down in their sprocket there, like that, so it sits flush. Take this one, same thing, drop it around till it sits flush. And because it's left-hand thread, we actually turn this to the left to tighten it down. I know it's weird, goes against what you normally would think. Find the other nut here. Left-hand thread, like so. Tighten it a little bit by holding this in the middle. Make sure they spin freely. And they do. Okay. Now we can take this. We can orient it where it's going to drop back in like this. And what I want you to see is at the bottom, you see these little protrusions. They're going to drop down to center it back into place back here. So down here, there's 3 squares that this drops into, and that's where we need to go. And I'll drop it in and line those up. And then the top side literally just pops into here and holds it in place. And with the Reassembling kit, the radiator is no longer held up here in place. It's designed to lay back because the Reassembling kit lays right here across it and actually holds it in place. So that's why I don't have any upper mounts holding the radiator down. Okay, once you get it pushed down in the bottom where it lines up, right here, these clips, you really just push it in and locks it in place, just like that. Now the fans are locked back into place. That's the easy part. I mean, really, can't get much easier than that. You just pull your radiator hose over here, wiggle that back on. I'll get my pliers, pull this clamp over to here. Then we have this, like this. There we go. There we go. That's a little better fit. Twist it down a little bit, like that. And then this one comes over here and pushes right onto there. And then it clips down in here to make it kind of neat and orient it over there. So there's that. All right, I'll get my pliers and I'll squeeze this and put that on and squeeze that to there. And then I'll hook up my Ram. But now I'll take this wiring harness. There's two connectors here. They both run down. One's gonna run over like this, under here, which I should probably leave that off, and go down to here, like so. Pushes in there. And this one is gonna run down right inside here. It plugs in just like this. Snap. And that's in. I think I took our wires right here a little bit. And this one, same thing. Plugs in, snap, and that's done. Now to put the Ram system on, it looks like this. Basically, you have your air filter there, and it captures air basically coming through the front kidney grills here and shoves it into the front of the motor. These have been shown to increase at least 1 to 2 miles per hour in the quarter mile, so they're definitely worthwhile having. And it goes on like this, and it's a little tricky with one hand, but you get the idea. To go. So this converter works really well on the street with these Michelin tires. These Michelin tires actually don't do bad on the street. And it's in sport mode. So sport mode's when you put the shifter all the way to the right and it shifts a little bit more aggressively. But you can tell it was spinning, but this car works really good with the independent rear suspension and the arms and all I've got on it. And to put it back in normal mode, you just kick it back over. And this button here is the traction control, basically turn off and on, so I'll turn it back on now. But anyway, I wanted you to see how it was to launch this car on the street. It actually tries to go. It actually moves. It doesn't just sit on top of the tire and just spin and hit the rev limiter and doesn't move. This car tries to actually get down and actually move and go. So it's kind of cool to watch this car take off and go. It's fun to drive and it's manageable, you know what I mean? It actually goes and it's not all over the road. It drives really well. So the car's temperature is running nice and low, where you'd expect it to be. See how the car shifts? It's awesome. So another successful mod, I guess you could call it, maintenance. This G8 is fantastic. I don't post about it much because it doesn't really need anything. And like I've said before, Pontiac, we build excitement.